can't do a thing without it, and although it's something we really can't live without, so many Americans have trouble controlling it. And I've actually had friends that worked full-time jobs and made close to $2,000 a month, but they have nothing to show for it. They didn't keep track of their bank accounts, so week after week they would overdraft, and then these overdrafts would include a fee, and then they would open credit cards, and eventually these would become maxed out. And they would try to pay off these bills on top of the ones they already had, but typically they'd forget to pay one and then another, creating late fees. And then these late fees and overdraft fees became such a routine that when we actually calculated it, they had lost over $500 in 1 month alone. And this was probably the first time I ever encountered anyone with serious debt, and after seeing how it affected my friends' lives, I decided it was a situation I hoped to never be in. So after looking at several causes of debt, how debt can affect your life and mentality, and the ways to prevent it from happening, I hope that our class will learn and try to manage their money better, and maybe even work to correct the debt they may have if they are an individual with this problem. So the first thing I think we should look at is what debt is and what causes it. And debt is defined as an amount owed to a person or organization for borrowed funds. And so many Americans are getting themselves deeper and deeper into debt, and there are a couple reasons why. According to an article on MarketWatch.com, there are actually 10 reasons why so many Americans find themselves in debt, and among those there were 3 that I felt stood out for people in our age range of most of our class. And their top reason was because of the fact that income has reduced, yet we still incur the same expenses. And this is especially true now with people losing their jobs and not being able to find new ones, and then they still have to continue to pay their bills and support their families. And another one of their major reasons was the fact that people don't manage their money properly. And I know so many people that month after month they would rather just swipe a credit card when they could easily just pay for an item with the money they do have. And because they do this, they end up having to worry about another bill and then end up having to pay interest on top of that. And their last major reason that I feel that so many Americans are in debt is because they don't know how to save. And unlike the majority of our class, according to an article in CNN Money posted on April 11th, 68% of Americans between the age of 25 and 34 have less than $2,500 saved for their later years. And a full 25% meanwhile have no savings at all. And these are probably the top 3 reasons why I feel Americans under the age of 35 years old are in debt, but on my slideshow I've actually provided a slide of all 10 reasons. So now that we know a little about why people end up in debt, think about how this can affect your life and the lives of people around you. And according to Abdul Aziz of Street Directory Debt and Loan Guide, one of many people's biggest concerns is their money, and it can even have the power to consume your life. And many people have gone sleepless nights worrying about bills and collection calls and how things will be for them and their families in the future. And according to Dr. Gabby Cora of the Executive Health and Wealth Institute, debt stress can actually have a very negative effect on your health and your well-being. And she states that facing tough times of our economy presents us today with foreclosures, gas prices, and layoffs. This can affect young adults who worry about, rent and paying for school, and then older adults who worry about mortgages and having to be able to support their families. And this can even put a wear and tear on your body, including tension headaches, as well as back pains and body aches. And not only can it affect your physical body, but it can put a stress on your relationships, and it can even affect the lifestyle that you're accustomed to living. So now that we know a little about how debt can affect your life, let's look at how to prevent it from happening. And there are 1,000 articles out there that explain ways to correct debt and how to prevent it, but I felt that ehow.com actually provided a list of logical and simple things that anyone can do to prevent debt. And on my slideshow, I've included all 7 of their steps to prevent debt, but there were 3 in particular that I felt that could work for both people in debt and those who wish to get themselves out of it, or those who wish to, prevent it from happening to them even. And their first big step was to stick to a budget. And I think a budget is so helpful because it basically gives you an idea of what you have to work with from month to month, and it prevents you from impulse spending. And I personally create a budget for myself each month that includes things such as bills and gas and food and entertainment. And this helps me gauge what I can spend and what I shouldn't be spending. And another one of their recommendations was to only use a credit card when you know you can pay it off at the end of the month. And they state that the longer it takes you to pay off debt, the more interest the debt incurs, and then you end up paying more. So their final recommendation was to save for a rainy day. And the easiest way to do this would probably be just to set aside a portion of your check each month and open up a savings account. And whether you put $10 or $100 in that account, it'll probably add up, and then in the long run it really will help you out. And following these simple steps, as well as the ones I provided on my slideshow, could significantly help anyone out. So after completing a survey with the class, which I actually posted the results as my last slide, I found that about I think 57% of us worry about the money we spend, and more than half of the class know at least one person who's currently in debt. And after finding out about how debt can affect your life, what causes it, and how you can prevent it, I hope that the entire class will take something from this, and hopefully I persuaded you to manage your money better and work to eliminate the debt you might have. And these tips can actually even help people that you know, if you know someone who's having a difficult time managing their money, or they need help, finding tips in order to help them recover from debt. This can help them become stress and debt free. Thank you.